Pozdravljeni, dragi poslušalci, drage poslušalke, dragi gledalci in gledalke. Danes je že 4. epizoda našega podkasta Male glave, velike ideje. Or should I say, little heads, big ideas. A v redu?
Little heads, big ideas.
So maybe you were wondering why is this episode in English? That's because our guest is here, a native speaker, an English native speaker, Helen Asher. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Hi Dylan, thank you for the introduction. Okay, yes, so my name is Helen Asher and I've been here in Slovenia since 2016. Teaching predominantly English, but sometimes I also help in the other subjects. I teach at Školski center Kranj and also in Radolica and Lise at the primary schools. Mainly I'll team teach with the teachers in English, but sometimes I'll also help in other subjects. For example, quite often I'll help the biology professor in biology, and when the children or the students are doing experiments, we'll sort of teach it in both languages, which sort of gives them that exposure to English, not just within English lessons, but also within other subjects.
I remember when I was I think the first year here, in biology, when we had those, what do you call it? The experiments,
yeah,
right?
Experiments,
And you came and you asked what is this about, what you're doing now? So I had to explain it in English, and I think that really helped my English, just to be able to speak to someone in English, not just write on the test.
Yeah, that's really great to know, and I know the biology professor will be really happy. That's what your opinion is after doing that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not just that I know biology because I don't know biology, but I know how to speak English to someone and explain something.
Yeah, I think it's great because it's in a natural setting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not such, because me and the professor walk around the classroom talking to the students, they can, one-to-one answer us rather than, having to talk English in front of the whole class.
Yeah.
Which is another reason it's quite a good.
It's easier one-on-one.
Definitely, it's much easier.
Yeah.
You feel more confident and comfortable. Yeah.
Cool. So you originally come from where in the UK?
Okay, so I was born in the northwest, which is by the seaside, near Blackpool. The town is Preston. It's actually a city now because we were there. But since I've been an adult, I've always lived in Derbyshire and in Bakewell, Derbyshire.
So what was your childhood like growing up in the UK?
It was great actually. Obviously I lived in a suburb of Preston. My primary school was in walking distance, which was great. We were there till you leave primary school in England in year 6 as your last year, and you start secondary school in year 7. So I needed to get the bus to secondary school. Again, it was really good. One of my favourite subjects was art, and obviously I really liked English and history. And then I went on to college and on to university, and yeah.
Okay, so maybe what was your first job?
Okay, so when I left university, I actually started working for the Halifax Building Society as a cashier, which was literally, people would come in to take some money out, and I'd give that to them. And then I quickly started working at an IT company in recruitment, and ended up being the HR manager, the IT manager. But the main part of my job was teaching the staff to use the computers. And as that was my favourite bit, I then decided to go back to university to study a PGCE, which is how I kind of landed in teaching.
Okay, so when did you first come to Slovenia?
My first time in Slovenia was in 2006 to live, and we lived here for 4.5 years.
So we went back then for
So I initially, at this point I was a teacher, okay? And I was teaching in secondary school English in England. And every year we'd go on holiday with my husband and he'd be like, I'd be saying to him, Paul, can we live here? And he'd always say, no. Can we live here? No. And then we came to Slovenia one summer in, I think it was 2004. And I said my usual, shall we live here? And finally he said, yeah, okay, we'll come for a year. So we then put the plans in to move here for a, sort of a short period. Yeah.
And now you're going back.
Yeah, okay. So initially we lived here for 4.5 years. And I was teaching in Radolice primary school, so Osnona Škola and Antona Tomaš Linat for 4.5 years. And then we went back to England for 5 years. Then we've returned and we're now going back again home.
So if I understand, you wanted to move to Slovenia because it was such a beautiful place, or?
Yeah, it's stunning. We loved it. We came on a lakes and mountains holiday, which was kind of a twin centre. So we first went to Kranjska Gora, and then halfway through the holiday we were transferred to Lake Bled, and I think we both just fell in love with the place. And it was the first time Paul actually said, yeah, I understand why you want to live abroad, and that's when we put the plans in to move.
So I suppose that's gonna be the thing you'll miss the most, going back to the UK.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like, the thing is, where we live in England is beautiful. Okay, Derbyshire is amazing. It's hills, countryside. It really isn't city life. It's more country life, and I love it there. I also really love Slovenia, and it's always been really hard, like, where shall we live? And yeah, I am in mixed minds about going back, but the older I get, the more I miss home. And I think we're now at the point in our lives where one of my daughters is in year 1 at grammar school in Kranj, and the other one is in year 8 in Radolice. And if we are to go back, we kind of need to go now, because in England, formal exams take place in year 11. They do GCSEs, and my eldest daughter Alex will be going into year 11 next year. So the school that she's going to recommended we move her at Easter, so she has the transition period before she starts the big exams.
Oh, okay. Like Matura in Slovenia.
Well, kind of, it's a bit like, it's a tricky one because it's in between NPZ and Matura, really, because in England they do, at the end of year 11, they do what's called GCSEs, okay, and they'll have quite a lot of subjects, I think 8. And then 2 years later they do A-levels, which is the equivalent of your Matura. Okay, but in the school that Alex is going and Sophia are going to, they will stay in the school until they are 18 years old and finishing their A-levels.
So so the Slovenian language is really difficult, as we know, but I want to ask, what is your favorite Slovenian word that you know?
Probably the one I like the best is probably palacinke. Okay, and that's actually more to do with the fact that in England we only eat pancakes once a year, really, on Shrove Tuesday, whereas in Slovenia, when we first came to Slovenia and you have pancakes all the time, we thought that was pretty amazing because I love pancakes. And so yeah, that's probably the reason it's my favorite word too.
On this point, I want to ask also, what is the one English word that you think will surprise all of us here in the studio that we don't know? Maybe that's one surprise question.
Oh, that's my surprise question, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have a little think and I'll get back to you on that in a couple of minutes, okay?
Okay, so remind us at the end of the podcast.
Okay, deal.
So the next thing is food, Slovenian food. How do you like it, and do you know how to make any Slovenian dishes?
Yeah, I do, obviously, over time. One thing I've never mastered is gibenica. This is really hard to make, isn't it? Can you make it, gibenica? Do they make that at your house? Or?
I'm not very good with cooking.
Okay.
Like some pasta.
Yeah, okay.
I can do that, but...
Okay. Yeah, basically the beef soup that you have, so gaveya juha, my daughter loves that. And I kind of quite enjoy making that, I think. And I'm trying to think. The buckwheat one, what's that called? Buckwheat is shkansi. Shkansi. That's something I love to eat, but I really cannot make. But it is delicious.
we're in Slovenia. We're saying if you want to grow, you have to eat giganci.
Okay.
So I don't know if you heard about it.
No, I haven't
But
heard
yeah,
that.
it's like you have to eat giganci.
Okay. I'll try it. Maybe it's a bit late for me, but maybe for my daughters.
Yeah.
I'll suggest they eat more giganci.
Yeah, you can take the ideas back to the UK
Yeah, I will
and
do. I
eat
plan to.
giganci.
Yeah, okay.
A lot.
I will.
So now, what is your favorite holiday or tradition in Slovenia?
Okay, I love pust, right? And the reason is I kind of think the idea of like getting rid of the evil spirits, you know, and welcoming the spring. I really love that concept. And yes, I'd say that is probably my favorite like festival or tradition in Slovenia.
Was anyone going to your house like dressed?
Yeah,
for
of course,
yeah.
Definitely. You know, the whole street, you know, and I've seen pictures of in the past because we have quite a lot of neighbours that are retired now. And in the past, they've showed me their photos of how much of a really big celebration it used to be. So.
Yeah. I remember when I was a baby, I don't know, strawberry, I think.
Really?
Something like that.
How
They
cool.
dressed me in that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So with Slovenian food, then you prefer, not can you make, but which is
what
the
do
best?
I like? What Slovenia's food?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I eat quite a lot of healthy food, so I try to. And so I think generally Slovenian food is healthy, isn't it? As a generalization. There aren't so many fast food outlets as there are in England, I think.
Yeah, I think the grandma's cooking is here in Slovenia.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most.
and it's grow your own vegetables, home produce, and that. I really like that idea.
Okay, so talking about Slovenia and living in Gorenjska, near the mountains, have you ever climbed Triglav?
Not yet.
But I think you said you're planning to.
Yeah, basically that was a plan, and it is still a plan. Because whilst we're leaving here for living, we will still come on holiday here. So yeah, definitely, before I get too old to manage it. My husband has climbed it though, and he said it's something that me and the children should do as well at some point. So I do intend to. Yeah. One thing actually on that note that I could mention is when I've got a new job, you know, teaching in secondary English, and one of the things I asked in the interview is, please can I teach a little bit of Slovene? And then the head teacher said, yes, of course, you know, I can sort of share a few words, so that'll be quite interesting.
So in the UK?
Yeah.
So if we compare Slovenia and UK, we were comparing it through the whole podcast episode already, but what do you think there are the main differences between Slovenian and British school system?
Right, so basically, with the question you just asked me, it's quite a hard one to answer because obviously there's, you know, real pluses with both sides. I think one of the main things I think in Slovenia, which is really great, is you focus very much on knowledge, and all students have a really high level of knowledge with their learning. I think England, in a way, you know, whilst they have the knowledge there too, I think there's a lot of active learning, problem solving, and things, you know, preparing you in that way. So I think there are pluses of both.
Cool. And do you have any grammar schools like Strokovna gimnazija in the UK?
Yeah, we used to. Years ago, there were a lot of grammar schools scattered around the UK. Now there are only certain counties that have them. So, say for example, Cheshire is one, and they do have like the grammar school system still. But we're kind of more in England. You have good schools to go to, which are still state schools, and then it's quite, you know, if you live in that area, people all want to live there because they go to those schools. Yeah. But again, you know, even in inner city schools, you still have excellent teachers, you know, excellent facilities. Yeah, I think.
So you've been teaching in Slovenia for 8 years now, the second part.
Yes.
What was your teaching experience in Slovenia? What are the students like?
Okay, I've really enjoyed teaching in Slovenia. It is obviously quite different than teaching in England. You know, my role as a teacher here is to offer something different than the standard teachers in Slovenia. So it's, you know, it's bringing a bit of culture, bringing a bit of authenticity, being a native speaker. So from that point of view, it's been quite refreshing, quite different to how I teach in England. And I really miss it. And I've loved working with the teachers as well, because often we'll team teach, we'll look at ways of how we're going to benefit, the children together within the group. So I will miss that too,
Okay, and lastly, how would you compare Slovenian and British lifestyle?
Okay, in the past, when I was first here, I would say, it's really outdoorsy in Slovenia, the food's really healthy, it's a lot quieter, there's less traffic, all those positives. But since being back in England more recently, I've started to notice that a lot of things I saw in Slovenia, I'm now seeing in England. And I don't know whether it's I'm starting to look more and I've opened my eyes more to England. But I was there for 3 weeks recently on a school trip. And I saw people walking, the food in the restaurant just seems to be healthy. Maybe just as a nation, consciously we are becoming, the British that is, more outdoorsy, more healthy.
Yeah, the question now that the principal wanted us to put in is which chocolate do you prefer, Gorinka or Cadbury's? Do you say it like Cadbury's? Or
Cadbury's, yeah.
Cadbury's.
Sorry, I have to say it's Cadbury's, it always will be. And I think I've actually converted some Slovenes too, because they always ask me to bring Cadbury's back whenever I visit England. Yeah. Have you tried it?
No, I haven't tried it.
Okay,
I don't even know what it looks like, but I'm gonna take your word.
Oh, okay, okay,
good.
Great.
So maybe at the end now, do you have any messages for our students? What do you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody, that's welcomed myself and my family in Slovenia, it's been an amazing experience. We've loved it. We're really going to miss it, and it isn't the end because we will come here on holidays. And I've already said to your head teacher that hopefully some of you will be visiting Derbyshire next year. To come into the schools, which would be fantastic if you do, if you're up for it. And yeah, thank you, and good luck in the future.
Okay, so this was an episode in English.
Yes.
So maybe at the end, you had to remember us. I just remembered the word, the English word that will probably surprise us.
Yeah. So there's one word, it's called gobbledygook. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll say it in a sentence.
Yeah.
And then we're talking a load of gobbledygook.
Yeah, like kind of nonsense.
Yeah, well done, Helen, you do know. Yeah, excellent.
Gobbledygook. For the Slovene viewers, zdaj bomo počasi zaključili. To je bila 4. epizoda podcasta Male glave, velike ideje. So it was great having you here.
Yeah, thanks, Helen. It's been lovely to talk to you, and I've really enjoyed teaching at your school. So it's been excellent. So thanks for inviting me to talk to you before I go. And I will miss Slovenia. I really will.
Thank you for our response.
Okay. Bye.
Adieu.
Bye.
I think this is good.